What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I want to break down what's happening with the overall market moving forward, and also what you should be watching for as time goes on. Let me just mention that I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. So CPI came out for today, and we actually saw NIO continue to dip. NIO was down about 4% despite the market getting bought back up again. So the market dipped in the beginning, so did NIO, but instead of getting a bounce back up, NIO continued to fall, whereas SPY and the others did end up holding up. Now, Tesla was also kind of weak. Tesla and a lot of EVs were kind of weak today after we got the CPI report. And part of the reason why is because if you look at the way things are looking, CPI was decent. All the data was aligned with expectations. We have the actual numbers right here, what I highlighted. Everything was actually aligned with what we were looking for. Nothing was like a great beat or anything like that. This wasn't a great CPI. It wasn't a bad one. It was just in the middle, pretty good. And that's why the market saw a very nuanced reaction. We saw a little dip, then a bounce, and the market still held up. But the question is, what's going to happen from here as we're approaching resistance? I just want to mention that CPI has been on a big decline, and this has been more positive for the Fed. Right now, the market is looking at now a big shift. That's why we got that little dip, because now the market thinks there's a 63% chance the Fed gives us a 25 basis point cut, and there's a 37% chance we get a 50 basis point cut. There's a big shift now compared to before. So we'll see how things go. The market's now anticipating the Fed's not going to be as dovish as they initially thought. So we'll see how things develop. On top of this, we had earnings like Dole. Dole did relatively well. We also have like Walmart and Alibaba coming out for tomorrow. Dole beats on EPS and revenue, had decent guidance, so I just want to call that out. The market is still fearful. Fear is still making up the majority of sentiments, but it's less fearful than before. And we're seeing a little bit of a shift. As far as NIO goes, they're announcing their 52nd power swap station in Europe and the 17th in Norway. Great news for their growth. There's been some talk about Onvo. They're basically working on the first production car expected to roll out tomorrow. So that's good news for them. Could this have been like a buy the rumor, sell the news events? Because once again, we were pumping kind of approaching this. And now that the news is coming out, we're kind of dipping a little bit for NIO. So this is what it is. Volume is only about 37 million. There's not really much else that's going on. So what do I see for the share price? It's very simple. We're just trading within a range. We like to get bought up around this 3.6 area, and we like to reject off the $4 area. We look kind of bearish on the 4 hours, so I wouldn't be surprised if we dip a little bit more towards 3.6. Then we get a rebound back up to 3.8. So for a little bit more downside than a balance, and we're just completely range bound. If you look at the last few weeks, we've been going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So expect it to dip a little bit, then come right back up and continue to trade sideways. That's what I'm seeing for NIO. As far as SPY goes, we're looking more bullish. We're hitting the 544 area. But we need to break and hold 544 to remain in this trend. And then the next level is going to be 547. That's going to be a very, very key level for SPY. If we break that, we could remain more bullish. If we reject off 544, watch 538 as critical support. If we lose that, we turn back down. Right now, we're kind of trading sideways around the 544 area on SPY. It's a tough resistance. So we'll see if you reject or not. But so far, the trend is still favoring upside a little bit more. But we'll see if you reject off 544. It's going to be a very, very tough level. So give it some time. Nvidia made a nice move, hitting resistance at 518, coming just short of 520. The question is, will we reject off 518 or not? We're at resistance. If we break through this, look for 521. If we reject, we're going back down to about 115 is going to be coming next. So we'll have to see. We could be forming kind of like a cup right now. Bitcoin got a bit of a rejection as well, forming a double top. Could this be a sign Bitcoin's about to dip, forming a double top all the way down to 55,000 again? If we lose 58,000, yes, that's going to likely be the case. So we'll see if that holds tomorrow. Look for a little bit of a dip. Tesla is kind of rejecting here. We have a nice accumulation structure. We're barely at this support. We're looking a little bit weaker. We need to reclaim 205 to turn back up. If we don't, there's a risk of us coming all the way down towards 197 again. And that's looking very favorable for tomorrow as Tesla is showing some weakness. The QQQ is at resistance around 464. If we break down 464 to 465 area, we could remain more bullish and push closer to 470. If not, there's a risk of us dipping back down to the 450s. So we'll just have to wait and see. Watch for a big test tomorrow at our 200 EMA. The IWM attempted to break out only to come back down. If we lose 204, we turn back down to 201. If we hold above 206, we could try to rebound. So watch that tomorrow. We kind of rejected here, so I'm going to give this some time. We're just in a range for the time being. Coinbase also has the same thing going on. If we lose 190, look for dip for 188 as we have that gap below. And if we're bullish, you want to break past 204, so give it some time. Amazon's doing the same thing. We're at resistance around 171. We filled this gap. Will this be a lower high? Excuse me. Will this be a lower high for rejection to be made on Amazon to continue lower? Or are we about to break through 171? We'll have to give that some time as well. For Meta has been trying to uptrend, but now we're barely at 526. We're at support right now. If we lose 525, look for a dip for basically 520, and then 517. If we hold this, we could try to rebound to 530, but just be careful. We're kind of forming like a cup, so I want to be patient with this. Microsoft is trying to rebound. We'll have to see if we could break 420 or not. This is going to be very, very key for us, so we will see. If we break 420, look for a bigger push. If not, we'll be dipping down to about 412. So this is looking decent in my personal opinion. We look a little bit more bullish on Microsoft. We look like we want to get closer to 420. That's going to be a tough resistance as we're testing previous support. Google looks more bearish. It looks like it's going to be retesting 158. So we'll see. This might dip a little bit more if we lose 160. So I do see downside as a strong possibility. So for NIO, the market's very mixed. There's some stocks that look like they're quite strong. Others are showing some weakness at tight resistance. So we'll see if the market breaks out higher or not. We're at some tough resistance on SPY, so we'll be waiting to see just for confirmation. Yes, some charts favor upside, but NIO, of all things, looks like it's going to dip a bit, then maybe attempt to bounce because we have a nice range, which we're just trading in. Unfortunately, this got confirmed as NIO failed to break past 4. So now look for 3.6 to be tested and a rebound to 3.8 and some sideways price action. That's all I'm seeing for now, guys. I'll give you guys another update in case something happens. If we lose 3.6, we'll turn even more bearish, so we'll just wait and see. But with that being said, have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next one, and peace out.